Do that. All right. Don't worry, guys. I'm just adjusting. I got YouTube over here, streaming on YouTube on this camera, and streaming on Facebook, my Facebook fan page, live streaming on this camera. All right. So it took a little time, like 4 minutes, just getting my little final adjustments, fixing up my office area. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give it a little more time. Let me see if I can share this. Man, that's cold. Right. Strong. Quit. My computer is slow. It's like I need a third camera. Dude. Okay. All right. How's it going, everyone? This is Jason, aka Director Nola, and we are doing another book reading today. Another section of the book, Disciplined Entrepreneurship. All right. So yesterday I did the first few pages of reading in my car, and today we're in my sock shop, Kimchi Socks. As you can see, the socks in the background. Got my little Rick and Morty figurines back there too. And like I mentioned earlier, I got YouTube on this camera over here, and then I got Facebook Live on this camera right here. So I'm streaming on 2 different platforms. I'm trying to do more live streams, especially just reading, right? Sharing entrepreneurship type of books and whatnot. So I started a little bit late today because I had to come in my little shop and tidy up, move some stuff around. I got my wife, she bought me this nice little space heater that's down here on the ground. Still cold in this shop, but I make it work, right? Talking about my wife, dang, she just, hold on, she just hit me up. Let me check and see what she got for me, what she got to say, and then, we'll jump into it. Got to check on the family, right? Stand by, which my computer's. But by the way, I will have my affiliate link in the description of these videos later, so you can get this book yourself. This is actually a good book, by the way. Like I really like it. It really gives you some insights on entrepreneurship, and it helps you think differently about some things, right? Just waiting real quick. I gotta respond to this message. But in the meantime, while you wait for me to read, just share this video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, follow, share. Because we're doing two cameras at the same time. Right. My hands are so dry, like when they rub, sounds like sandpaper, right? So just waiting real quick. Gotta wait a little longer. So just shoot stuff a little bit. Monday I start taking my online college classes, and taking some classes on entrepreneurship focused courses, so I can become a much better entrepreneur, more knowledgeable, and increase my skills in entrepreneurship, so I can become much more become successful, earn more money, do more for the world. First, do more for my family first, then my community, my local community, and then the world. That's one thing people don't talk about. Saving the world is awesome, yes, but at the same time, you got to start at home first. It starts at home first, all right? We can't save the world if we don't got our home saved first. So always got to take care of home first. Don't forget that. Take care of home first, then take care of your little community next, then you take care of the world. That's how it should go. First, second, third. All right. Now, open up, cacao. Cacao. You like my socks? You like that? You know what I'm saying? So over here we got that one. We got like we got special limited edition kimchi socks. That's gonna be for some of my people who contributed to the Small Sock Factory crowdfund. Then we got the Bitcoin sock in the middle. Then we got the Dogecoin sock. Then we got this 10-year anniversary special sock that we are a team, guys, people I'm partnering with. We're trying to market. Then underneath is like the female size, so that was a man, and then the one right here is the female. Then we got Litecoin, we got Ethereum. I don't know if you see it. You see Litecoin. Then we got Spank Chain. Then we got GBBC socks. Right. So you see, I'm real committed to the blockchain cryptocurrency community, man. Like, yeah, I got more socks on that side of my shop, but we're not on that side right now. Just got to respond to my wife real quick on this messenger on my computer. Just taking long, and then we'll start reading. Like reading Rainbow. Yeah, this is a low budget reading Rainbow, but the people keep coming in and out. No big deal, Whatever that. Let's see. But yeah, so I was reading that there's people who live stream studying in Korea. Like they're not reading nothing, and probably they just quiet and they just studying, and people watch them. Like people watch them live stream studying, and I'm like, that's amazing. That what like what that would be that that would be a fun incentive for me to study. Oh, you're gonna watch it, and I get paid studying? Jesus, nobody didn't say that. I've been studying for a long time. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you? Huh? I would. Getting paid to study. That's pretty much what these people was doing. Getting paid to study. For people, we will all be getting started soon. Ooh. Oh yeah, baby. I like that. Ooh. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Responded to the missus. All good on the home front. Now let's get this show started. Okay. So yesterday we stopped at page 28, and I don't have like a timer or anything like that. But so we're gonna read for 30. I'm gonna read for 30 minutes. All right, 30 minutes. So if you have any questions or anything, post your questions, and I'm gonna answer them later on after I'm done reading. All right. So okay, page 29 on disciplined entrepreneurship, and we're on a market segmentation section of the book. All right. Shoot. One more thing. Squeezes me. Squeezes me. Squeezes me. Okay. And we're back. Okay, market segmentation. So if you, I don't know. Okay, so if you have a new technology, you probably can think of a large number of industries that could benefit from your product. While you may have domain expertise in a certain field, that field may not have any good applications for your technology. So be open to different industries. Later on, you will filter your ideas to take your passions into account. Start by identifying potential industries for your idea. Then list who might benefit in each industry from your idea. Focus on end users, not customers, because you will need a committed group of end users to have a sustainable business. A school doesn't use a textbook or a chalkboard or a lesson plan, but teachers do. For instance, if your idea is to improve education with technology, who would be your end user? Teachers, administrators, parents, and students are all potential end users. Each category can be further subdivided. Or are you focusing on end users in universities or in grade school? What different types of schools are these end users associated with? Which countries and regions do the end users work and live in? To elaborate on one example, in the grade school category for teachers, there are public school, private school, parochial school, and homeschool teachers. Within public school teachers, there are various levels of schooling depending on their country and region. Within each category, there are urban, suburban, and rural schools. In most middle and high schools, teachers specialize in specific subjects. Even within a subject such as social studies, there are subcategories such as history and geography. In most schools, there are art, music, and physical education teachers, as well as paraprofessionals and special education teachers. Next, identify the different tasks your end user performs. For high school science teachers in a suburban area, these tasks may include teaching, grading, preparing lessons, training, discipline, dealing with parents, ordering chemicals, and more. An elementary school teacher in a major city may not need to order chemicals, but may need to buy classroom supplies, sometimes out of pocket. Also, elementary school also, an elementary school teacher likely teaches multiple subjects, so you would subdivide teaching by the different subjects. You may find enough similarities between certain subcategories that you can group them depending on what your idea is. But you will find that out during your primary market research. Do not start combining categories without knowing more about your customers. Sometimes my students have an easy time segmenting end users when starting with an employee like a teacher, but have a much harder time when the end user is a consumer. Purchasing for personal or household use. A useful question to ask is why the consumer would purchase a product in a particular industry segment. For the education segmentation above, why would a parent purchase a product that improves education? Or consider a technology such as a long-lasting battery. If you are looking at the transportation industry and have segmented down to consumers buying a vehicle for personal transportation, why would a consumer use such a product? Some possibilities include environmental consciousness, high performance, luxury, convenience, and value. Even within high performance, you can subdivide between consumers looking for a low cost but high performance vehicle and price insensitive consumers whose primary objective is high performance. Be broad and expansive when segmenting end users for your new product. You are brainstorming now. Later, you will narrow the list as you start to analyze each segment. You have by now identified numerous potential end users and applications for your idea or technology. Your next task is to list the top 6 to 12 particularly interesting market opportunities, where a market opportunity consists of a specific end user and one or a handful of applications. As you do primary market research, the specific application you have in mind may not be the one the end user is looking for. So it is better to focus on end users for now. In Inside a Tornado, Geoffrey Moore identifies 5 criteria that the company document used to narrow down its list of 80 potential markets. I have expanded this number to 7 by splitting the first petition into 2 parts and adding one of my own to incorporate the passions of your founding team into the discussion. Market segment. Number 1. Is the target customer well funded? If the customer does not have the money, the market is not attractive because it will not be sustainable and provide positive cash flow for the new venture to grow. Is the target customer readily accessible to your sales force? You want to deal directly with customers when starting out, rather than relying on third parties to market and sell your product, because your product will go through iterations of improvement very rapidly, and direct customer feedback is an essential part of that process. Also, since your product is substantially new and never seen before, third parties may not know how to be effective at creating demand for your product. Does the target customer have a compelling reason to buy? Will the customer buy your product instead of another similar solution? Or is the customer content with whatever solution is already being used? Remember that on many occasions, your primary competition will be the customer doing nothing. Can you today, with the help of partners, deliver a whole product? The example here that I often use in class is that no one wants to buy a new alternator and install it in their car, even if the alternator is much better than what they currently have. They want to buy a car. That is, they want to buy a whole functioning solution, not assemble one themselves. You will likely need to work with other vendors to deliver a solution that incorporates your product, which means that you will need to convince other manufacturers and distributors that your product is worth integrating into their workflows. Is there entrenched competition that could block you? Where is the case where no other competitors are vying to convince a customer to spend their budget on some product to meet the identified need? How strong are those competitors from the customer viewpoint, not your viewpoint, or from a technical standpoint? Can the competition block you from starting a business relationship with a customer? And how do you stand out from your customers' perceives as alternatives? If you win this segment, can you leverage it to enter additional segments? If you dominate this market opportunity, are there adjacent opportunities where you can sell your product with only slight modifications to your product or your sales strategy? Or will you have to radically revise your product or sales strategy in order to take advantage of additional market opportunities? While you want to stay focused on your beachhead market, you do want to choose a starting market from which you will have a hard time scaling your business. Moore uses the metaphor of a bowling alley where the beachhead market is the lead pin, and dominating the beachhead market knocks down the lead pin, which crashes into other pins that represent their adjacent market opportunities or different applications to sell to the customer in your beachhead market. Is the market consistent with the values, passions, and goals of the founding team? You want to make sure that the founder's personal goals do not take a backseat to the other criteria presented here. In the case of a company I co-founded, Sensible Technologies, we wanted to get their liquid. We want to get liquid, go public or get bought within 4 to 5 years, a relatively short time horizon for the type of technology we created, because co-founders Thomas and Macy wanted to move back to Connecticut, where they were from. Therefore, an important factor for us was whether we could show results in an acceptable time frame in whichever market we choose. Start by asking these questions at an industry level. Then consider what the answers would be for the end users of your product. Within the industry, if you have segmented your potential end users by branching out into many categories, like in the education example above, ask the questions at each branching level. For instance, consider the example from earlier of teachers versus parents versus administrators versus students, then higher education versus grade school, then country, then public versus private, etc. Your limiting factor is time. You will research each of these markets in depth, and you do not have time to consider a limited number of options. 6 to 12 market opportunities is more than sufficient, with a realistic number being much closer to 6 than 12. Step IC, primary market research. Now that you have narrowed your market opportunities, it is time for the primary market research. Talking directly with customers and observing customers will help you get a better sense of which market opportunity is best. Because you are identifying a new market opportunity for a product that does not yet exist, you will not be able to rely on Google searches or on research reports from research firms. Oh, black coffee. If there is already a market research report out there with all the information you need, it is probably too late for you. It's probably too late for your new venture. You have missed the window of opportunity. Someone else has beaten you to the market. Instead, you will gather the vast majority of your information from direct interaction with real potential customers about their situations, pain points, opportunities, and market information. Unfortunately, there are a few shortcuts in this process. While you should find out what you can about customers and markets before you talk to potential customers, it is impossible to overstate the importance of doing direct customer research, as any other sources of information and knowledge are frequently superficial and likely of minimum value. How to talk with potential customers. When you talk with potential customers, encourage the flow of ideas. Don't restrain them or try to gain a commitment. If the potential customer sense that you are trying to sell them something, they will change their behavior. They will either say little or say things that are related to the market opportunity you seem to be presenting them, rather than providing you with new innovative ideas for markets. As a result, you will get less market data, and what you do get will be biased. Likewise, you should not count on your customers to design your product or tell you the answer to their problems. The goal of this research is to understand their pain points and later design a solution that will be of great value to them. To do so, you will need to thoroughly understand the underlying issues and sources of opportunity, whether by speaking with them or even better, watching them as they work. Actions are more important than words because people sometimes say things that are contrary to how they actually do things. You will want to talk with as many end users as possible, but individuals who are not end users may also give you valuable advice or point you in the right direction. You may even find that you misidentified the end user in your segmentation. There are a few key factors that are integral to collecting accurate information. You must have a high level of intellectual curiosity. You must be fearless about getting on the phone, in the car, or on a plane to pursue this information. You must have the ability to listen and get people to talk. You must be open-minded and unbiased and never presuppose a solution. You must have the ability to explain what the essence of your proposed offering might look like while also being flexible. You must have time and patience to devote to this important step. There are 3 important caveats when conducting your primary market research. You do not have the answer for your potential customers and their needs. Your potential customers do not have the answers for you. Talk with potential customers in inquiry mode, not advocacy / sales mode. Listen to what they have to say and don't try to get them to buy anything. Organize your research, the main categories you are trying to obtain information on for each market. End user. Who specifically will be using your product? The end user is often your champion, who you need to onboard so that your product is successfully adopted. You have narrowed down your end user already, but as you do primary market research, you may find the category can be even further segmented. The end user is not necessarily the person who decides to purchase the product. As we discussed later in step 12, determine the customer's decision-making unit. If you are making a child's video game, the kid who plays it is your champion because he tries to get his parents, the economic buyer, to purchase it. Application. What would the end user be using your product for? What is the task that will be dramatically improved by your new venture? Benefits. What is the actual value that the end user would gain from the use of your new product? Not feature or functions, but specifically what the end user gains from the product. Is it a time savings, a cost savings, additional profit? Lead customers. Who are the most influential customers that others look to for thought leadership and adoption of the new technology? These are sometimes referred to as lighthouse customers because they are so respected that when they buy, others look to them and follow their lead, gaining you instant credibility. Some people call these customers early adopters, but lead customers are not technologically enthusiasts. They must be respected by others as innovative and successful customers who purchase because the product provides them with real value and not simply bragging rights. Market characteristics. What about this market would help or hinder the adoption of new technology? Partners and players. Which companies will you need to work with to provide a solution that integrates into the customer's workflow? Sometimes this category will tie into the complementary assets acquired category below. Size of the market. Roughly how many potential customers exist if you achieve 100% market penetration? Competition. Who, if anyone, is making similar products, real or perceived? Remember, this is from the customer's perspective and not just yours. Complementary assets required. What else does your customer need in order to get the full solution? That is, to get full functionality from your product. You will likely need to bundle your product with products from other manufacturers so that customers can easily buy your product and have full functionality. At the very least, you will need to identify what other products your customers will need to buy to use your product. For instance, if you are developing a game for the Saga Dreamcast video game console, your customers will need to be able to purchase the console as well. Since the console is not sold anymore, this need will limit your customer's ability to purchase their product. It is easiest to organize this information in a matrix, where each potential market opportunity is a column header, and each category of information is a row. The sensible example further on shows how such a matrix could be organized. There may be other categories that are relevant to your situation. Also, some of the rows in the example matrix may be unnecessary for your situation. But this general format can be a good starting point for you to customize it as appropriate. This matrix has proven to be helpful for hundreds of companies. Also, some have added or removed categories of information to make the matrix more valuable to their specific context. How long should I spend on market segmentation? Give your full attention to this research for at least a few weeks. Also, make sure you are talking to customers in a target market to get good data. The amount of time you spend will depend largely on how effective your team is at getting primary market research. You should spend enough time so that you can fill out the matrix for all of your top segments with some accuracy. Don't just search the internet and debate this in your office. It is likely you will not find a perfect market opportunity, but there rarely is one that is perfect. Do not let yourself fall into analysis paralysis. Tongue twister. Do not let the market segmentation be a never-ending process. The objective is just to get an accurate assessment of the market opportunity so you can move to the next step. After all, this is step 1. You have 23 more steps to go. You will likely revisit this step as you get more information from the future steps. While the steps are presented in a sequential manner for the sake of simplicity, they are often iterative in nature, as the overview illustration shows at the beginning of the book. All right. Step 2, select a beachhead market. All right. So in this step, you will analyze your top 6 to 12 market opportunities and choose one to pursue. Further segment that market to determine your beachhead market. All right. So In the previous step on the market segmentation, you built a matrix based on your primary market research on your top 6 to 12 markets. Now, select just one market opportunity for the matrix to pursue as your beachhead market. Ignore the other markets. Almost all first-time entrepreneurs find that ignoring market opportunities is difficult and even painful. They dodgily hold on to the idea that more markets increase their odds of success, and that they are best off hedging their bets until one market takes off. In fact, such thinking will decrease your odds of success because you and your enterprise will lack the necessary focus required to succeed. A key determination of successful entrepreneurs, their ability both to select the market and stay disciplined by deselecting other markets. Focus can be difficult, especially for entrepreneurs. People keep options open even when it's not in their best interest. According to former MIT professor Dan, who discusses the topic in his 2008 book, Predictable Irrational. According to his research, when people are given what appear to be multiple paths to success, they will try to retain all paths as options, even though selecting one specific path will have guaranteed them the most success. By choosing a single market to excel in, your startup can more easily establish a strong market position and hopefully a state of positive cash flow before it runs out of resources. By focusing in this way, you will position yourself to most quickly achieve the all important positive word of mouth that can be the source of success or failure for entrepreneurs. How to choose your beachhead market. In military operations, if an army wants to invade enemy territory with water access, the army may employ a beachhead strategy, where the army lands a force on a beach in enemy territory, controlling that area as their base to land more troops and supplies, and to attack other enemy areas. The 1944 invasion of Nazi-controlled Europe by the Allied forces is one of the most famous examples of a beachhead strategy. The Allied forces established beachheads on the shores of Normandy, which allowed them to gradually capture all Nazi-controlled territory on the European mainland. Without conquering the beachheads, they would have no starting point for the invasion. Likewise, your beachhead market is where, once you gain a dominant market share, you will have the strength to attack adjacent markets with different offerings, building a larger company with each new following. In many cases, there are multiple paths to success, so it is not imperative to choose the absolute best market. Therefore, get started doing rather than getting stuck in analysis paralysis. Your goal is to start your company, not become a professional market analyst. Action will produce real data that will tell you quickly if the market will or will not be viable. If the one you have selected is a viable market, great. If not, you will still hopefully have time and resources because you acted quickly and effectively to allow you to return to your matrix and attempt a second market. The 7 criteria I mentioned in step 1 for narrowing your market opportunities are also useful in choosing your beachhead market. Is the target customer well-funded? Is the target customer readily accessible to your sales force? Does the target customer have compelling reason to buy? Can you today, with the help of partners, deliver a whole product? Is there entrenched competition that could block you? If you win this segment, can you leverage it to enter additional segments? And is the market consistent with the values, passions, and goals of the founding team? It is better to avoid selecting the largest or very large markets, even if they seem like the best segments. The first market you attack will be significant learning experience for you. So you are better off learning in a smaller market where you can quickly get high exposure among the base of potential customers. This principle is similar to learning a sport. You will learn a lot from playing against someone slightly better than you. If you start by playing against a top professional, you will learn only the professional is very good at the sport. You might as well be watching from the sidelines. Choose a smaller beachhead market. For example, if you live in a small geographic region, start there before trying to launch into a larger region. Large companies do the same thing. They test market. They test market new products in lower exposure countries and regions before rolling them out worldwide. Your beachhead market still needs to be segmented further. Okay, we'll finish this up. As you begin to focus on your beachhead market, you will quickly recognize that it almost surely can be segmented into smaller markets. This is standard good practice. You should not worry about being focused on too small a market. As I had yet to see an entrepreneur focus too much. It is always the other way around, where the entrepreneur doesn't focus enough. You want to start in a market where you have a great ability to dominate in a relatively short time period. A narrow, focused market is the best way to do so. How do you tell if your market is targeted enough? You want to continue segmenting until your market opportunity matches the three conditions that define a market. This definition expands on one that more presents in inside the tornado. Three conditions that define a market. The customers within the market all buy similar products. The customers within the market have a similar sales cycle and expect products to provide value in similar ways. Your salespeople can shift from selling to one customer to selling to a different customer and still be very effective with little or no loss of productivity. And three, there is a word of mouth between customers in the market, meaning they can serve as compelling and high value references for each other in making purchases. For example, they may belong to the same professional organizations or operate in the same region. If you find a potential market opportunity where the customers do not talk to each other, you will find it difficult for your startup to gain traction. These three criteria for defining a market mean that you will get efficiencies of scale in the market, and you have a good chance to do that magically, that magical thing that all startups want, go viral. Example, sensible technologies. After much deliberation, we choose the industrial design industry as our beachhead market based on 7 criteria above, but we had not segmented the market any further. So after choosing the market, we discovered that industrial designers could and should have, for our situation, be divided into 3 distinct groups. One group handles rectangular shapes with sharp edges, incorporating a lot of simple geometry. A second group handles highly stylized shapes with smooth surfaces, best represented by mathematical equations. A third group works with highly organic and sculpted forms, often designing with clay. Our product was most appropriately suited for free form designing. So the third group was the optimum market for us to focus on. The customers in this group were primarily toy and footwear companies with extensive play studios and many sculptors among their designers. Much to our surprise, we were able to group toy and footwear companies as one market because industrial designers in the toy and footwear industries acted so similarly that they completely met 3 conditions of a market presented earlier in this step. They both use a lot of clay to sculpt highly organic 3D art shapes that were shipped to China on a very tight schedule. They will buy the same design products and use them in the same way. The pressures they faced were the same. The sales processes and value propositions were identical. Further, in a very telling sign, the designers frequently move between toy and shoe companies to advance their careers. They even belong to the same subgroup in the Industrial Design Society of America. Smart skincare. In one of my classes, a PhD student entered with a promising new technology out of a laboratory of MIT professor Bob Langer. The student, Pedro, figured out how to synthesize more quickly nanoparticles for medical uses. One particular application was a nano-scale polymer coating that binds the skin and can slowly release medication over a 24-hour period. Pedro and his team spent weeks researching different applications for this polymer, including medical applications in hospitals and outpatient services, including treating cancer. Another market segmentation they considered was sunscreen. Using time-release feature to slowly release sun-blocking chemicals over a long period of time, After deliberating, they found that a customer market such as sunscreen require less time and money than medical markets, which need a thorough FDA review. The consumer market would allow the team to work closely with real customers and get a feedback loop going so they could more effectively develop the technology into a product. However, the sunscreen market provided to be too large and too diverse for the team, which continued to sub-segment the market through primary customer research. Eventually, they settled on one of the sub-segments: extreme athletes in their 30s who do triathlons. These athletes are extremely competitive with a lot of disposable income that they spend on their fitness. When the team approached a number of these athletes with their idea, they were extremely positive toward the concept. The team also realized that if these extreme athletes bought the product, other markets would be easier to enter. The extreme athlete proved an appropriate choice for a beachhead market. Summary: choose a single market to pursue, then keep segmenting it until you have a well-defined and homogeneous market opportunity that meets the three conditions of a marketplace. Focus is your ally. Okay, so we're gonna stop at step 3, and we'll pick up. All right, tomorrow pick up on that step right there. So yeah, so actually, the plan is kind of to do like 2 readings. So in the mornings, I'm gonna be reading from this little short, quick book, The Millionaire Morning, and I'm gonna do this on my YouTube. I read this one. I live stream this one on my Instagram account, but I'll be able to do all 3. I'll do like Facebook and YouTube at the same time, and then do Instagram by itself. And then in the afternoon, then I read the bigger book. So yeah, tell me what you think. Comment if you haven't already. Share this. Share with everybody else. I plan on, like I said, I plan on doing more live streams and reading. Next week I start my classes for my bachelor's in entrepreneurship. Oh, sweet. Thanks for seeing it, Whitney. But yeah, so next week I start my online classes for entrepreneurship bachelor's degree. One reason I'm doing it is because I want to become a much more educated and well-rounded entrepreneur. Also, in the military, they want to take college, so I'm taking college, and I'm taking one that's something that's in line with what I like, which is entrepreneurship. And also, that gives me some good content. So I guess I'll share with you guys some of the stuff from my classes. Like I'm taking an accounting class. One of the classes is accounting, and another one is entrepreneurship in regards to leadership. So yeah, so I'll be doing streams about that as well. As you can see, my socks, kimchi socks, is in the background because I'm in my little shop here in Songtung in South Korea. So it is 10:38 p.m. That's all I have for you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you haven't, please share this. Like I said, I plan on doing more live streams this year. I want to do more stuff with Black people reading, or at least Black men, showing that Black men reading, some good stuff. And yeah, so that's it. I just want to put more positive stuff out there in the space, especially a lot of people are interested in business entrepreneurship. So that's all I had. I'll check you guys tomorrow. Shoot, that's a good point. See, I'm glad you said it. See, yeah, I gotta post that. So this one I'm gonna do 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. gonna be for this book in the morning, and then for this one, let me see, because I gotta go to Incheon tomorrow. We have a new guy coming in. He's replacing me in my one shop, so I can go to a different shop. He's coming in tomorrow, so I'll probably do this one around lunchtime. So probably like 11 p.m. So so you come. You must be coming down late. I'm about to go in for that curfew kick in, but this will probably be like 11 p.m. in the morning. I'll do this one before I head to Incheon to go pick up that new guy. So yeah, so 6 a.m. for this one, and 11 a.m. Seoul time. All right. So 6 a.m., 11 a.m. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all be cool. Jason, aka Director Nola, I'm out.